Hello again, everyone. We are Gaming by Gaslight. Welcome back to Dead Cells, our continued struggle. You know what? Part of me kind of wishes I had gone ahead and picked up that Frost Blast, and we could have done like some cool ice-themed thing. But our struggle to actually get a win in Dead Cells continues. And also my struggle to remember to actually parry instead of just dodge roll past everything also continues. But we'll get there eventually, probably, maybe. Of course, then again, we've got a weapon that gives us a bit of a bonus if we actually do attack instead of parry, so I guess it all balances out. But yeah, we want to get a win in Dead Cells. We're like 3-0 now, aren't we? Because technically I'm going to count that one run where we crashed in the sepulcher. I'm going to count that as a win, just because, you know, technically speaking, from a certain point of view, we can pretend that was a win. It is what it is, you know? And we'll keep fighting. In fact, you know what? I think we will go for a brutal run. I'm still taking the shield, though, because I'm going to take a shield at the start of every run from now on, or at least for a while, just for practice-related purposes. I want to try and get myself into more of a habit of using shields for their new and improved intended purpose. I'm not gonna bother buying that. I mean, we're down. Is there anything I want? I mean, I don't really want to go to the shop. There is a treasure chest, though. There's also that challenge room. I don't know if I'm gonna do challenge rooms all that often. I mean, I kind of do them from time to time anyway, but maybe we will refresh this. But it does feel like a bit of a waste to have done that. I mean, the shop in the first level doesn't make a lot of sense to invest in. Frankly, I would even argue the shop in the first level doesn't even need to be there. But that's just my opinion, man. And yeah, just my opinion. So, you know, I could be wrong about that. I mean, well, I guess then again, the real value of that shop being there is, and I guess we won't bother exploring the rest of the level. We're gonna go to the promenade today. But anyway, its value is that if you don't get an item you want, like say you really have your heart set on doing like a certain run, but your starting items don't match, then you have an opportunity to get onto the right band right off the bat, or you know, something to that general effect. My thought process here, you know, is that. But then again, the way I play the game is I just, I immediately choose what kind of run I'm going to go with based on what the starting items are. If I get a lot of survival weapons, then I'll do a survival build. If I get a lot of tactics weapons, I'll do a tactics build. If I get a lot of brutal weapons, I'll do a brutal build, etc., etc. Though, I guess on the other hand of all that, brutal weapons are the most common. I bet I could get up here. But do I really want to take the time? I mean, it's kind of taken forever to get up there, so the answer is no. I probably could, but this is not the kind of run where I feel like having a moment of exploration and discovery. Also, there's like 2 scrolls up there, so that's pretty sweet. And it's definitely worth going down here. 9. That's such a weird number. Why are there 9 cells? I'm sure I've seen, like, sometimes it's 8. Like, this update's weird to me. It feels like it kind of, sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 10. I'm not sure if it's level dependent or if there's some other factor going there, but there's some sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway, so we do have that going on for us. I also kind of wonder to myself, like, if I go for a brutal build, do I want tactics as my site? Like, I mean, we have a number of combinations here, no matter what kind of run we go for. If we have brutal as our main, we could have brutal and tactics, or brutal and whatchamacallit. So that basically means there are 6 combinations of nifty, fun, super happy, cool run types you could do. Some are no doubt more equal than others, but in general, they all can, in the right hands, get the job done. So that's a good thing, I guess. I'm also, don't forget about that. It's kind of weird to me. I feel like these scrolls here are spawning on elevators a lot more often in this particular update. Might just be me. I could be a crazy person. We're not going to buy anything here either. Generally, my thought process is for the most part, and unless I feel really underpowered, I'm not gonna spend too much money in the store until, like, closer to endgame. You know, when we want to, like, really make sure that we've perfected everything and have all the stuff that we need in order to have a successful, victorious run. But on the other hand, in this update, it's also a little bit more important than usual to actually buy from the shop, and we're totally going to go to this challenge area. I think we skipped the last one. We're not going to do every challenge area, but, oh dear. 68 enemies, coming down to 66. I don't know if I have... Ooh, nicely done. I don't know if I have a lot of confidence in myself, is what I'm saying, to actually, like, pull this off. But I might. Maybe I just need to give myself a little bit more credit. Good job. I mean, this is gonna be a very... Oh, dear. Okay, they're just gonna keep doing that, I guess, so good job. Alright, let's not screw this up. We can totally ace this. Don't hit the spikes. I don't know what it is. Like, if this was a regular gameplay section, I would, like, totally ace that, like, 100% of the time. You know, 100% of the time, 92.5 to the square root of 3 or something % of the time. You can feel free to do the math on that, figure out what that actually is, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't do the math on that. Anyway, the important part of my rambling is that, I guess, knowing that I can't take a hit, it makes me so much more prone to actually getting hit, and that is definitely, like, a life problem that I need to... That really did not end up being half as good as I was hoping it would be, but it still... Oh, dear. Oh, no, I really screwed that up. I totally could have... I had the speed bonus, I totally could have jumped over that, but I didn't. Very disappointed in myself. Very shameful. Awful. Alright, we got some... Oh, my goodness, this boot is not very good for smacking our... Oh my goodness, I can't even hit the dang dragonflies. That is rather frustrating, but it's also part of life, so we'll move on. But I do need to get rid of this thing, because it is... Which I think I started saying, but then kind of, as usual, got a little distracted from what I was really saying. In this update, it's important to make sure you keep upgrading your weapons more than usual, seeing as the old upgrade system no longer applies. Though I do look forward to the quote-unquote December update, you know, because I'm guessing that's when the next update's going to be, though that could totally be wrong. But if it is in December, you know, let's just go for it. Why not? Or maybe not. You know what? We could go for it, but there might be like 1 or 2 more stat upgrades. But anyway, yeah. I look forward to seeing what the next update's going to do with, like, the new and improved upgrade system. Hopefully, it is in fact as new and improved as I imagine it to be. And I still stand by, like, my hypothesis is that it's gonna, like, add some kind of... Oh, nice parry. I'm getting a little bit better at that. I mean, the parrying time is actually, like, really forgiving. Of course, that could be some of the, like, framiness on this system, but I find that, like, it is very generous, so I like that. You know what? I like the idea of an infantry bow. And also, I can't recycle my starting item. I don't remember that, old boy. Anyway, we've got a bow now, which is, like, slightly, and by slightly, I mean, like, totally, like, 110% better for hitting enemies, seeing as the bow will curve. You can curve your shot a little bit, just a little bit, in order to hit your foes. I guess also, like, checking out the rest of this level does give us a few more opportunities to pick up some cells, which we do need, because we have, what, it's like 110 million cells still to go in order to unlock that last thing. But I think we are going to go to the prison depths. My thought process, there's no secrets there, but we'll totally dive down there. There was a secret. You know what? A thought just occurred to me. The secret is on top of the tower. Yeah. But I'm too lazy to go back and do that, so someone remind me to actually go back up there. And someone should be myself, because I should have, you know, responsibility for myself and actually, you know, take care of myself as far as remembering things are. instead of relying on other people to remember for me. But I know myself and I'll probably forget, so I'm mostly saying that just as a way to kind of lock into my brain the fact that I should remember to totally climb up that tower and see if there is in fact a secret of some sort there. A secret of some variety. Who knows? We'll totally need to do that, but I'm not going to worry too much for now. Our primary focus is just to try pulling a win. Or at least getting as close to a win as possible. If we can at least make it to the clock tower, because I think I'm going to try to go to the clock tower on this particular run. If we can pull that off, then I'll consider this a success. And, well, I mean, it won't be a real success, but at least we'll have made some progress, is what I'm getting at here. And progress is good for morale, seeing as we have not yet made it to the clock tower on this particular, on camera. I've seen the clock tower once off camera. Or wait, did we make it to the clock tower? No. There was no on tower or on screen, on camera clock tower action. But I have seen the clock tower. I've seen pictures of it. I've been there once myself. So good job, Gaslight. You like totally had a shield and you didn't bother raising it at any point because you prefer getting hit in the face. That's a bold lifestyle choice, to be honest with you. Anyway. Enough tearing yourself down. That's not very productive to anything. God, I love this bow. Ow. In fact, the infantry bow combined with a quad damage boost would probably be virtually unstoppable. Probably. Maybe. And, of course, another classic cursed chest. You know what was really crazy, though? Having free cursed chests in the graveyard. Was that just last? Yeah, it was just last episode, I think. That was crazy. I have to assume, because from what I've noticed, like each level does tend to have like a certain something about it. And and that certain something is that it adds like they have like each level, you can kind of predict like what's going on there, I've noticed. And the graveyard seems like levels that have a cursed chest in them seem to always have one cursed chest in them, is what I guess is where I'm going with this. So my thought process here, oh dear, this is not going to end well for me. Let's kill the bats, of which there are like way too many. And then we'll get back to our business of killing the damnable clockwork spider. I really miss the days when he just like had a shockwave attack. It was so much nicer. No, I think it's got to be like one of those careful what you wish for sort of moments, because I remember back when he used to have a when the clockwork spider just had the shockwave attack, I was all, oh dang, that's such a ridiculously overpowered attack. It's all shockwavy and stunny, and then he combines that with the bombs and stuff. But to be honest, oh god. To be entirely honest, it was much less bad than the like spam of spiders, and by spiders I mean bats. I hate the bats, man. Or flies. Are they flies? Are they bats or are they flies? I consider them bats. That's what I've always called these things, but I think they're actually referred to as like flies or something in the game. Which I think is crazy, because they totally look like bats. And I'll stick with my non-canon, non-official names for enemies. So, thank you very much, good sir or madam. Sounded a lot more needlessly combative than it really should have been, but, you know, that's the YouTube life for you. You get combative for no reason. That's not at all true. I wouldn't consider myself a combative person. In fact, I try to avoid combat even when I, like, totally should not avoid combat or something. Do I want to spend this money? I guess I will. Though, to be honest, I feel those money doors are not as worth it as they were in the previous update, and I think they might need to be rebalanced ever so slightly. But then again, can you really put a price on the value of cells? But the flip side to that is that they used to give like a lot more cells for the money, and now they just give 10, so It's kind of a back and forth, I suppose, on that. And we shall... Oh, dear. We'll see how things go, I guess is what I'm saying. It's usually what I'm saying, anyway. Just gotta wait and see. Things tend to work... Oh, God, an elite mechanical spider. God help us all. We are all doomed. Okay, get... Oh, God. Oh, no. No. You can't do this to me, game. This is too much. Too much too soon. I'm not ready to... I'm too young. Oh, now I... Oh, God. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's... Come on. Oh, God. Please stop with the spam. You see, if he just had a shockwave attack, it would be much less bad. Because then he'd just have a shockwave, and he wouldn't be sending, like, 10 million enemies after me. All I need to do is make sure I was not in the, vicinity of the shockwave when it fell down. I actually don't hate the idea of those firebrands, but I don't think they are the right... They're not right for me on this particular run. So we're just gonna junk it for money, because money is always useful. Money is both the root of all evil and also the solution to all evil. So, well then again, is it money itself that's the root of all evil, or is it the love of money? That greed and avarice? That's probably the real root of evil. Which itself is just, you know, a subset of that eternal lust for power and control that dominates the minds and hearts of men, or something like that. That is your philosophy by Gaslight for the day. Feel free to write a report on that. It will not be on the exam. That was good work, Gaslight, shooting into a wall for a few minutes and then not blocking or rolling out of the way. Anyway. And we might as well... Yeah, why not? We can kill some enemies, we can get ourselves a small amount of additional funds to continue funding the war effort. That war on doors that we've not really referred to since... When did I last even make a joke about that? The whole, like, me constantly smashing doors instead of opening them. I think it was, like, all the way back in the demo days. Maybe a little bit at the beginning of, like, the early access period. I forget. But you know what? It occurs to me. We have been neglecting the war on doors. You know, all doors must fall. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with that. There's totally no way to get in there. All the doors they built. I mean, after all, what is a door but a way to keep people out? And do we really, in today's modern society, have any room for keeping people out in our beautiful society? I think not. Thus, doors are obsolete, or something like that. There's probably something meaningful in all that, but at the same time, it's also probably mostly just gibberish, so don't pay me any attention, I guess is what I'm saying. Alright. This is the end. There's a couple areas we could still explore, so we should totally explore them. I think, is there a short... There's not even a shortcut up here. Dang. So that was a complete waste of time. Oh well. I find it interesting, by the way, that, right now, this is the only path that basically gets you an extra level. Well, I guess the trade-off of that is that you can get, with the free curse chests in the graveyard, that kind of, I suppose, gives you a little bit of extra oomph, as it were. More or less. Maybe, possibly. We'll see about that, I suppose. I mean, should I try to redeem myself in the challenge area? My gut says no. So I'm not going to. I'm just gonna kinda... Yeah, kill the clockworks and move on with our lives and, you know, hope everything somehow works out. I mean, we could buy a weapon. And we'll just take a quick look here, see if anything gives us anything we wanted. I mean, it's sort of tempting. Kinda tempting. We'll reset it one more time. Maybe we'll get something really cool. The answer is no. Nothing that I'm willing to spend money on at any rate. At least that's my general thought process, and you know what? We're gonna skip the challenge area. We won't redeem ourselves today, we'll just kinda wander off. This also might be a longer episode. I'm totally just kind of meandering here and taking my time. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So certain I was going to die there. Oh, come on, man. Don't do that. Clockwork spider not getting stunned like he was supposed to. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. That's it. Oh, I don't even have the money. I would if I hadn't kept re-rolling the shop. Then I totally could have afforded that. Oh well. You know what actually would be cool now that I think about it? If there was like some kind of equivalent to like the donation machine from Binding of Isaac, so we could, you know, bank a little bit of money for the next run. Probably unnecessary, seeing as that would sort of make the like keep 15,000 a bit obsolete. But then again, sometimes I find I want more money. It's interesting in a way. I mean, or then again, with those like paid doors for cells being the way they are now, it does help, I guess, with the rampant cost weapon inflation-ness, as it were. Of course, now we have like rampant cell inflation, because once you've unlocked all the upgrades, you don't really have anything to spend your cells on. So I am hoping... Ow. Oh no, I actually didn't take damage there. Get a little framey there for like a split second, which kind of concerned me. There we go. I knew I was going to get hit at some point. But anyway, like, what can we spend our cells on? I still stand by the notion that we'll get some kind of... Like, the next update with, like, re-adding in an upgrade system will allow us to increase our, like, the level or re-roll the modifiers or something for cells rather than money. Or maybe re-roll the modifiers for money and actually level up the weapon for cells or something. Reinforce it or whatever. What have you. There's also 2 tactics upgrades in there, which are nice, but not particularly useful for this particular run. Also, I don't see you, power upgrade scroll thing that's hiding behind the sarcophagus over there. An interesting place to hide it, but I see you. Don't you think I don't? And we're totally gonna unlock that merchant upgrade. Though I don't quite understand what it's supposed to do. Though I guess we'll understand once we actually unlock it, so there is that. Yeah, I'll get rid of the flashbang. Part of me says that's a bad idea, but I'm like totally gonna do it. Also, I'm sort of thinking to myself, like, the whole path thing, like, the prison depths here, this is the only level that gives you that, like, extra level in your run. So do you figure there will eventually be side levels for, like, all the paths, or at least, most of the paths, so that you could have, like, a longer run, or you could have a shorter run. I mean, I don't think going longer is necessarily better, because it's not, at the end of the day, like, the amount of extra scrolls you get really shouldn't, if you're, you know, decent at the game, it really shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it can make your life easier. And I mean, also you kind of have to go to some of the side levels from time to time in order to actually get all the blueprints. But then again, I think I've got every possible blueprint that I could get from the prison depths. So we'll have to check that out, make sure that we know exactly what blueprints we still have to recover for ourselves, because there's obviously a couple still. And while we're waiting for that to come up, we'll check out this secret area. Nicely done. All right, what do we got here? We got a lot of bad folks here, and yeah, I don't really need that, so we'll keep moving there. I also really got to get good with wall jumping so that we can, like, totally ascend faster. We'll definitely want to practice that so that we can get better in the daily runs, which we do from time to time. They don't seem to be as popular. Like, I noticed they don't tend to get as much interaction and views and stuff, so... I mean, I guess it's also because, like, once you've done one daily run, you've basically done them all, because, you know, there's only the... I mean, you get the different level varieties, but basically it's, you know, the same old thing. I kind of hope eventually the other bosses get added as, like, possible encounters at the end of the daily run. That would be nice, I think. I was thinking maybe it would be nice if they also gave different point values, but then it also occurred to me that that doesn't make much sense, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really change the outcome of anything, does it? You know, seeing as you fight the boss at the end anyway, and all it would really do is inflate the high scores. There's a part of me that thinks maybe I should have taken that so that we could increase our brutality even higher, but on the other hand, wasn't necessary. Also, yes, what I was thinking about, like, levels with, like, the side branches and stuff, because I was actually kind of, like, doing a mental count in my head of how many levels there are, and if you include the free, like, boss chambers as levels, then there's already 15 levels in the game. And as you may recall, if I'm not mistaken, I mentioned how, according to, like, random unofficial sources that I have seen, or they might be official sources, well, official, unofficial sources, something like that. Apparently, there's going to be like 20 levels in the final game, 5 bosses, so we need 3 more bosses, 5 more levels, which would, or no, 2 more bosses, 5 more levels, which means 2 of those levels would be boss levels, which means 3 more levels, which means, would it be a level? I mean, when I think about it, so 3 more levels, one of which, at the very least, would probably be like the penultimate, like, gearing up for the final boss level. And, like, assuming it's like one level that leads to the final boss. And then, you know, the actual final boss level itself. So something after the clock tower. And by clock tower, I mean the clock room where you fight the assassin. And the only reason I know its name is because there's literally an achievement that says, get to the clock room for the first time. Anyway, so that dang it. You see, I shouldn't get all caught up in these things when I'm doing a challenge room. But anyway, yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is there's actually, like, I mean, in terms of, like, actual work, I imagine there's a lot of work, because, you know, it doesn't seem like much from the player's point of view. But imagine from the developer's point of view, having to create the art and then, like, programming, like, the level generation and all the other stuff for a level, you know, probably takes a lot of work, if I were to guess. I mean, in general, that's how it goes, isn't it? I mean, like, movies, those take, you know, months, sometimes years to film, and same with books and video games, obviously, which we're talking about here. But, you know, like, when it comes to creative projects, they generally, you know, it takes longer to create them than it does to actually enjoy the final product, so, yeah. In terms of actual content, I'm guessing there's not that much more left, assuming, like, all these assumptions I'm making are actually accurate, but the work required to get to that final product is probably still fairly high, so, yeah. It will be interesting, I guess is what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, there's an area right there. But I do wonder whatever levels there will be. Like, apparently in the game files, there's, like, something called the Cavern. So I guess that's a level we can look forward to at some point. And assuming the repository of the architects is still going to be a thing, then there's also that. You figure the repository would be a full level, or that would be, like, the boss room, if it's going to be a thing. And who would you fight there? Like, let's try to think of a name here, like the Scholar, the something Scholar. The Sinful Scholar? No, that's like, that does not sound that great, to be honest with you. But something Scholar. That's totally, that would be the boss you'd fight in that room. Some kind of scholar dude. Ow. That's an unnecessary bit of damage on my part, but yeah. The Forgotten Scholar? Nah, because I mean, we've got a level called the Forgotten Sepulchre, so I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know. The Renegade Scholar? No, that also doesn't sound like that. Just the Scholar, maybe? Doesn't need a description. I mean, most of the bosses don't have, like, that extra adjective added on to it, so, yeah. I mean, you just have the incomplete one. You have the Watcher, the Assassin. I also know the Assassin's name because it's, like, literally, you know, the name of the achievement. Well, it's not the name of the achievement, but it's in the description. It literally says, beat the assassin for the first time. Pretty cool. Which also means there's probably an achievement for acing the assassin for the first time. Which I have to imagine, like I remember reading about in the update, apparently like at first, the final boss was like actually like ridiculously hard, like a ridiculous like damage sponge. But I'm willing to bet that now, the old Assassinino here is probably not that bad. Probably. I mean, we have to actually get to the assassin first in order to... why am I even calling the boss by name when we've never even seen it? That's the problem when you end up being away for a while. You end up, like, reading all the spoilers before you get to experience it for yourself. Because that's the kind of guy I am, apparently. I'm just not patient enough to wait for these things. Apparently. Alright. Alright, I mean, we're not, this is not like the most ridiculously overpowered, incomplete one run we've ever had. But, we are doing pretty good for ourselves. I don't know why I wasted those arrows there when we could have, like, totally just waited a few seconds, wait for our arrows to come back, and keep fighting. You see, this is what I really like about this update. Arrows, we get our arrows back over time anyway, which allows us to actually fight the boss and generally have a good time here. Bam, 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 and bam. And now the incomplete one is dead. I feel bad for him. Poor guy. He's dead. I mean, he never even got to be completed. He's just like a half-finished golem. Some kind of Promethean being who never truly got to live. I feel bad for him. Maybe if he had, you know, had better parents than whoever his parents are here in the island, or on the island, I guess, maybe he could have made something for himself. Much like Frankenstein's monster. To be honest, I mean, I can't help but feel bad for Frankenstein's monster. Like, every time I read the book or see one of the versions of the movie, like any of the one, well, especially when you read like the actual original book, like Frankenstein's monster, man, like it wasn't just some mindless beast. He actually, you know, he taught himself how to read and write. I mean, that's pretty impressive. In my opinion, I guess, is what I'm saying. And, you know, his own father, his creator, turned his back on him. Like, imagine, like, that would be the equivalent, like, for the more religious-minded, if, like, God turned his back on man. Which would, you know, kind of suck. Good plot for a story, though, I imagine. But, you know, general idea there. I mean, you'd figure... Actually, wait, isn't that basically the plot of Preacher? I'm pretty sure it is. So, yeah. What I'm getting at, basically, is... Yeah, don't be a jerk to your creations. When you make life, you're kind of responsible for it. Or, I mean, at least to get it out the door, unlike, you know, what Frankenstein did. He's like, ah, it's hideous, it's a monster, what have I done? And then he just leaves it there. Like, that's kind of a jerk move, don't you think? Not very nice at all. And, yeah, we should totally go with the ruby amulet. Kind of hesitant to actually, like, kill enemies, because I do want to leave some for like, the cursed chest in this level. Because every time we've been here so far, there's been a cursed chest. Just like every time we've been to the prisoner cells, there's been a cursed chest. And I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there've been a few levels where every time we've been to them, there's been a cursed chest. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that with that little... Oh, okay. Nowhere for us to go, I guess. But with that little bit of information, we know for sure that we can always, like, count on certain things in a level, which means we should... In fact, I'm pretty sure it was always that way. Or no, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure in previous updates, it was actually, like, completely random whether there'd be a cursed chest. Because, I mean, sometimes in the previous update, there'd be a cursed chest in the starting room. And I have not seen that happen as of yet. I'm gonna kill these guys, though, because they're jerks and I don't like them. Anyway, ow. Yeah, I should probably try to avoid taking that bad damage. That's just, you know, not good. Though I also think to myself, if there is a cursed chest in here, I probably wouldn't want to, like, if it's not until after the awakened part of the level, I think I totally would not want, I'm taking ridiculously unnecessary damage here, but I don't think I'd want to open it until after I had killed all the golems, like those big guys over there. Because they can warp you to them, and they also have that, like, groundy attack, which, like, takes up, like, 10,000 miles of screen space. And, yeah. Basically, what I'm getting at is, you gotta be careful. And also, I really should be a little bit more careful about taking unnecessary damage here. Oh, and there's the cursed chest right there. Alright. So, we'll open it, then we'll backtrack and kill all the enemies that we can. So we can hopefully get rid of the curse. And, it's not bad, but I don't really want it right now. Not today, and I don't want to go through that. I could totally survive that, but I'm not going to. We're going to get rid of our curse. We'll take our time with it. We'll be slow. I mean, we don't really have good active skills for staying away from the enemy, and all of our items, all of our weapons, like our entire loadout basically is built around the idea of getting right up into the face of your foe. So we do gotta be a little bit cautious about that. Alright, now I really don't like how there's no shortcuts in this level. Though I do also kind of I feel like I sort of understand why. Like, part of that is to make sure that you can't avoid, like, you can't just, like, skip over 99% of the awakened portion of the level. But still, kind of annoying. Just a little bit. How do I want to play this one? I guess that's how I'm going to play it. Not bad. It worked out. But, yeah, I mean, the fact there are no shortcuts means that we have to actually play through the entire level effectively in order to actually get anywhere, which is somewhat tedious at times. Definitely adds more time onto our run, but as long as we know what we're doing, it's not terrible. So personally, I would still, if I were to give any suggestions for tweaking this level a bit, I would say, you know, maybe add a couple of extra teleporty shortcuts. Just a couple. I mean, so that they can serve their purpose, which is, of course, saving time. Ah, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, thank God that guy's apparently, like, too big and or fat in order to be covered by... Oh, no, stop doing that. In order to, you know, actually or to get blocked. Could you imagine, like, if that golem could actually block our, or it could be protected by the dummy there? That would really suck. So I'm glad that's not a thing, is what I'm saying. And as that is not a thing, I guess we don't have anything to worry about there. Alright, what do we got here? Not an item. I don't care that much for the oil grenade, is what I'm saying. It's not a bad item, I don't think. Get back here, I'm not done with you yet. Oh dear, don't... Oh god. Okay, I don't like how he can basically, like, infinitely stun me forever. That kind of sucks. Okay, grab your stat upgrades. That'll make us a little bit more likely to survive the ensuing melee here. I really do not like those golems. They are ridiculously powerful. Of course, then again, I think I'm gonna hate them forever, mostly because my first experience with them was one, like, just brutally killing me and ruining my run. Though, having fought them a couple of times since, I feel like I've got a better understanding of how they tick. And that understanding is mostly that they are beings that are fueled by hate and rage, and that I want nothing to do with them, so... Yeah. They are the worst enemy in the game, possibly, maybe, as far as... Mostly because they also don't let you leave. I mean, they make sure that you cannot leave. There is no leaving until either you or them is dead. It's, you know, two fighters enter, one fighter leaves. And generally, I'd prefer if it was me. So, yeah. Take that, jerk face. Alright. So, yeah, let's go back up here, because there is, stuff. Is there? I mean, I do want to check the rest of the level out first, so let's, of course, then again, there's no warpy portal things. So, it's going to take us a long time in order to run back. Also, is this place falling apart? So I can't help but notice in, like, the big outdoor areas of the level that it kind of has a certain sense of, like, rocks and stuff falling. Or is that just... Oh, it's this Joker again. You know what? Once you get to know them, they're actually not that bad. That's like Chuckles Senior. You know what? That's his name now. He's Chuckles Senior. See, you gotta come up with names for all the enemies. Names that are not the official names. And I like the idea of Chuckles Senior. It's Chuckles Jr., who we've been making friends with before in the graveyard and other places nowadays. And then there's Chuckles Senior, who is like Chuckles Jr., but much bigger and, like, he's like the annoying kind of, like, absentee father, oh, sweet, of Chuckles Jr. So, there you go. There's your story. Alright, we could go to the Sepulcher, but I don't really want to go there. Not today. Also, it occurs to me, looking at that, there is a warpy portal thing literally right after the level exit, so I totally should have checked that out instead of just going immediately, like, backtracking, because now we're gonna have to backtrack that entire area. But I really do like the level design of the Sanctuary. You got, like, your little indoor areas, and then you go outdoors, and you got the leaves flowing once the level actually wakes up. I'm pretty sure there's no leaves flowing. Not to mention the color change. Like, when it's sleeping, it's all, like, very blue, and it becomes very orange once it actually wakes up. I like that. Music here is also pretty good as well. It's, you know, nice and peaceful and quiet during the sleeping portion. And it gets, like, real nice and high intensity once we... Where am I going? That's a good question. It's totally not this way. Alright, well, we'll, you know, just prove our mettle by avoiding the spikes. But yeah, anyway, like, it gets really high intensity once it wakes up. I like it. It's cool. Though I also wonder to myself, what is the story behind this area? Like, what's going on here? And also, looking at the background, like, where are we relative to everything else in the island? Like, I feel... Oh! Look at that. We would have missed an upgrade. Can't do that. That would be wrong. Very, very wrong indeed. It also occurs to me, looking at my stats, we've got a lot of survival upgrades. Imagine if we had made this a survival run. We would probably have, like, 20 survival and be much, much more powerful than we are today. Oh, sweet, we can actually upgrade the merchant thingy. And what is this? Crow's wings. Temporarily allows flight. And also drops stuff on our enemies, apparently. That's cool. I still don't understand what that merchant thing does, but I like it. So, I mean, I guess once we find a store, we'll find out what it means. But for now, Clock Tower ahoy. I also like the Clock Tower. It's a cool level. Let's see here. What are we in for today? It's actually a really cool level. I like it a lot. I even like how it has, like, sort of an intro-y bit to it when you come in, which we'll see in a second once the level actually loads. Now, the fact it's taking so long to load tells me that... Oh, thank God the game didn't crash. But doesn't the outside there look like Fog Fjord? So, canonically, are we supposed to get to the clock tower from Fog Fjord? Who can say? But I do kind of like how it has, like, a sort of a different, like, entrance than all the other levels, which is pretty cool. I also like the music here. There's something... Oh, God, this guy drops bombs, huh? Mr. like, dual sword. That guy, he's like... That's like... I don't know. Is that Slasher Senior? It's like Skeletor Senior. You know, Skeletor with his clothes on and an extra sword. You got, like, Elite Bomberman here. That jerk. He keeps throwing bombs at me. That's not very nice. And then he's got his sword. Like, I mean, come on. Pick a tactic, a style, and stay with it. There's also a crazy big clock tower. Like, construction of this is like someone was clearly compensating for something when they built this. It is like an unnecessarily big clock tower. Okay, how did I get there? That's some framiness for you. Clock tower's a bit framey on my laptop, but I am confident that we're still mostly okay here. Mostly okay. Not entirely okay, but mostly. Also, cool bell. Oh god, good job, Gaslight. Oh dear. Yeah, some of this framiness is a little... It's making it hard to keep up with the plot here, but we have enough health that I am mostly confident that we're gonna survive. Though, I am kind of irritated that the game has given me so much health when I'm clearly going for a brutal run. You know, the game just doesn't respect me as a person. So, there you go. Also, I like the fact there's actually like a clock beat in the background. Like, that is nice. And it kind of, it doesn't sound at all like a soundtrack for Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows, but I love the soundtrack to that movie. As, you know, it did have some clock-y themes. I mean, frankly, to be honest with you, I like, it was Hans Zimmer who, was it Hans Zimmer who did the audio for that? He does good music, is what I'm saying, I guess. If that's all I'm saying, then that's all I'm saying. But, yeah. Good audio, good soundtrack. There are a lot of enemies, a lot of bats, a lot of brain bats. This is like the Ramparts 2.0 as far as like the number of brain bats is concerned here. This is like too many brain bats part 2. This is like too many brain bats 2 electric boogaloo or something. Electric brain bataloo. Whatever, something. There's too much going on, man. It's crazy. That guy, he's like slapping me, he's throwing bombs in my face. Like, he's not respecting me. And you know what happens to people who don't respect me. They end up taking very long walks off very short piers. I mean, the minus 20 damage reduction, that actually probably would have been a good idea. Maybe I should have taken that instead. Plus, I'm looking to myself and I'm thinking, given the crowds of enemies in this level, we are very likely to wind up dead. I mean, all it takes is a couple of wrong moves. Also, it occurs to me, we have not upgraded our bow for a little bit. Like, when did I even pick this bow up? Was it all the way back in... I think it was all the way back in the prison depths, wasn't it? So, yeah, it's got to have been outclassed by now, so... There's that, and this is a level where the enemies, like, they really are, like, begging for some crowd control here, so... It occurs to me, and we're gonna go up this way, I think. My gut tells me that in this ridiculously, unnecessarily big tower with all the little towers kind of branching off of it, that this is the way to go. That, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, the crowd control, that's what I'm trying to get at here. Like, this level is composed, like, it's very vertical. I like that, actually, because it makes it feel very different from the other levels we've played, for one. And for two... Ow. That's mildly obnoxious. But, like, it's very tight, so this is a level where you really want to have a good crowd control item, or just a really powerful weapon, like a heavy crossbow, for instance, something that could deal out a lot of damage in a very short amount of time to a lot of enemies all at once. It's a lot of bats, by the way, again. Like I've already said, and probably, like, driven the point home, like, needlessly far. There are too many brain bats. Also, there is a locked area with some sort, I tells ya, some sort of key. Alright. And we also have spinny dudes, so that's good. We got another chance at Also, is it just me, or is there like a real samurai kind of theme here? Or like real, like, Eastern The spinny guys are like ninjas. These guys are like samurai. And I never really associated clock towers with Japan, but I guess I do now. It's a clock tower full of ninjas, assassins, and samurai. Crazy, is what I'm saying. Ooh, the Watchmaker's Key. You see, that sounds cool. I would love for a boss to be literally called the Watchmaker. I mean, I like the assassin as a boss that you fight at the top of the clock tower, don't get me wrong. I mean, just about any enemy that you fight at the top of a clock tower is cool. But imagine if there literally was a boss called the Watchmaker and he had like some crazy like time distortion attack. And that's the dude you fought at the top of the clock tower. I mean, like, I kind of feel like that might actually end up becoming the case or something. It seems kind of weird to me that we go from the sepulcher to the top of the clock tower. There's like an emergency secret back exit there, apparently. Yeah, get you hit in the face, sir. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably called the Watchmaker's Key because it's a watchmaker who lives in the clock tower. Because, naturally, clock tower is the perfect natural environment for a watchmaker. You're in a big clock already, and then you make smaller clocks that people wear on their hands, or put in their pockets. That was some unnecessary damage on my part as well. I could have done better. I will be better, possibly. Probably not. We'll see. Oh, it's a cursed chest. Well, at least there's lots of brain bats, so this should be pretty easy to get rid of. Also, do I want the cluster grenade? There's a part of me that feels I'm going to regret not taking that cluster grenade, because what was it? What was that you were just saying, Gaslight? The whole, oh, well, you should probably have a good crowd control item in the clock tower because it's all claustrophobic and there's big crowds of enemies. And then, you know, perfect example of GamingByGaslight not following his own advice. Oh, good God. I can't one-shot any of these enemies, so... Well, I literally just one-shot the guy. These guys also drop a lot of heavy ordnance here, so we want to be careful about that. Alright. I mean, it's just a matter of being, you know, keeping it secret and keeping it safe here. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, there's an elite enemy up there. That's like the last thing I needed. Alright. We can totally do it. All we need to do is kill the little guys, and then, like, I don't know, we'll have to bypass the elite bombardier. Oh god, no, no, no! And I'm dead. Dang gummit. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, so until the next time, as always, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to leave me a comment or hit that like button. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will see all you in the next video.